Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, what are we? Well, obviously we're going to talk about boyfriend, girlfriend, relationships, when to talk about that, how to talk about it if a woman you're dating brings it up, and when it's appropriate and obviously not appropriate. And also what to do, how to back off if the woman that you're dating, you come on a little bit too strong or you start bringing up the topic of exclusivity before she's ready and you notice she seems to lose interest or she's starting to back away. But before we get into I got 3 emails I'm going to go through with you today. So before we get into the first one, I've got a quote that I wrote on this topic that I want to share with you. It says, men often fall in love through their eyes and can instantly feel like they want a woman they just met or started dating as a girlfriend. Women, on the other hand, tend to fall in love slowly over time through their ears. If a guy handles the courtship properly, as I talk about in my book, How to Be a 3% Man, it usually takes until week 7 for the woman to get to the place emotionally where she feels safe and comfortable enough to bring up the topic of dating exclusivity, boyfriend-girlfriend, and relationship commitments. It's always best for men if they let the woman bring this topic up first and then ask really high-quality questions such as, what do you mean? Instead of assuming she wants him as a boyfriend. Since most guys tend to act and think that becoming exclusive is a mad dash to the finish line instead of a beautiful love story that evolves slowly over time. When a guy starts talking about relationships and exclusivity on the first few dates, 99% of the time, the woman will quickly disappear from his life. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first guy's email. He says, "Hey coach, I hope all is well. I recently, about 2 months ago, began to go out and talk to a girl for my work. In October, my fiance and I broke up after a 4-year relationship. She cheated on me and I had to end it." Well, good for you for the fact that you had a set of balls and you said, this is fucking bullshit, I'm out of here. Because a lot of guys would just stick around hoping that things would change or they'd get better. But the bottom line is if you want to be in a marriage, an exclusive relationship, and you're dating somebody who's a cheater, you're just incompatible. And you can't fix the fact that that person will cheat when they're not happy or... because the commitment doesn't mean anything to them. If it did, they wouldn't cheat on you in the first place. They would talk about things with you to work on the relationship instead of just giving up and going fulfilling their needs outside of it. He says, "It was hard to let her go, but I did it in November and I began to talk to a girl from my work. A friend requested her on Facebook and she gave me her number without me asking." Well, that's a pretty good sign. When a woman likes you, she helps you. She'll give you her phone number, she'll give you her email address, she'll give you her Facebook info, she'll give you her work number, tell you when good times are to call her. The higher her attraction level for you is to start off with, the more enthusiastic she's going to be about sharing contact details with you. When she's not that interested, she's going to do things like, well, let me get your number, or do you have a business card? Or if you ask her to dinner and she says maybe, maybe always means no. He says, "I asked her out and she said yes. We went out and had a great first date. We both made the mistake of talking about our past and exes. At this point, I had not read your book and had no idea what to do and what not to do. It's been about 4 years since I dated, so I was nervous to say the least." That could have been part of the problem in your previous relationship. The courtship never ends. You always date your girlfriend or your wife because eventually some other dude's going to come along and date her for you. And women know that if you really love them and care about them, you're going to continue to court them and go out and have a good time and have fun with them. He says, "I was doing most of the talking and we did kiss a few times. She also ended a 7-year relationship in about August of last year, so I knew she wasn't ready for a relationship. We went out again the following week to a bar, and this time she made out with me passionately. Sounds like fun. We were both pretty drunk, so that kind of explains that. I spent the night at her place that night. During this time, she began to text me daily with good morning and good night texts. This to me was signs of attraction. We have been going out 1 to 2 times every week since then and have had sex a couple of times. Indoor Olympics. He says, I pursued her 75% of the time during those weeks. That is the root of your problem. Anytime the guy does more than 20 to 30%, he in essence is acting like the woman. And this girl obviously really liked you, and the way I can tell that is because you just sent her a friend request. She's like, hey, here's my number, call me. That means she really liked you, and she probably, on a scale of 1 to 10, she was probably an 8 as far as attraction level. She really dug you. But if you'd have done this with a woman that was like, maybe perceived you as like a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10 in her eyes, you would have never got to this point. She would have just blown you off, usually after the first date or the second date when you started over pursuing her like that. And so what happens is she was really attracted to you in the beginning, and then she starts to lose interest, and it drops. It takes several weeks for that to happen. He says, I could tell her attraction level is dropping because she spent most of her time going out with her friends. Yeah, her friends are more important than spending time with you. And that's what happens when you chase a woman like that, when you're doing 75% of the pursuing. They just lose interest. It's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. And when the guy never does more than 20 to 30% of that, it facilitates that. When she becomes unsure or she wonders about you, she reaches out and contacts you. He said, I finally read your book, and I changed my tactics by not pursuing her and not texting her. It's been about 2.5 months since we started talking, and she still sends me good morning and good night texts, which I think is a good sign. I really like this girl, and I believe she likes me. She mentioned to me that she told her mother about me, and I was the first one that she's told her mother about since her ex. She also bought me a pair of $200 boots for Christmas. Nice, generous gift. Shows that she likes you. And I bought her a $300 purse. She has made comments like I shouldn't be looking at other women and that I should get the Boyfriend of the Year award for buying her that purse. So she's referring to you as her boyfriend. And so when you hear something like that, that's when you bring up the topic. So you look at me as your boyfriend? And so she's like, well, yeah. It's like, I'd be really mad if you were dating somebody else. Like, so are you saying that you want to be exclusive? Is that what you want? And she might say, well, is that what you want? I'll say, well, I want to know. Tell me what's in your heart. What are you feeling? Where are you at? That's important to me. I want to know. And she'll go, well, I'd really like to be exclusive. I'm not dating anybody else, and I don't want to date anybody else. It would really upset me if you were going out with other girls. That's why it's so important to ask good quality questions when this comes up. And it sounds like you missed a good opportunity to find out where she was towards you by asking the question. See, she's bringing it up. She's the one that says you're the Boyfriend of the Year. You get the Boyfriend of the Year award. That's when you hear something like that, you need to take advantage of that opportunity, because then you can talk about it. And when she says it, yeah, I'd really like to be exclusive, I say, I think that's great, because I think you're amazing. I adore you. I think you're a great girl, and I had a really great time with you. And I don't want to date anybody else either. So you're saying you want to be exclusive and you want to be boyfriend, girlfriend? Well, yeah, don't you? It's like, well, of course, let's do it. Come here, baby. And you give her a hug, you kiss, and you make love. And now you're exclusive. Now you have the label. And that's it. And then nothing really changes. It's just in your mind and her mind, you've had the talk, and it's clear. It's what I talk about, being clear in your intent. You're asking questions, and you're getting her to reveal what's going on instead of assuming that's what she wants. Always better to ask the questions to get her to reveal what she's thinking and what she's feeling. He says, other than that, she's not mentioned anything about starting a relationship, which leaves me confused on where we stand. It's a missed opportunity, dude. I talk about this in the book. And this is what happens when you don't know the material in my book well enough. You miss a great opportunity like this to get really clear. But since you probably only read the book once, you think, oh, yeah, I got this shit. This is what happens. These little subtle mistakes. My book's 270 pages long, and that section's maybe 1 or 2 pages long where I talk about this. And you missed it. You didn't know it well enough. Each time you read a book or you watch a video on something, you're only going to gain about 8 to 10% of the knowledge. He said, I don't want to scare her or ruin what we have by mentioning it. I just need some advice on what I should do at this point. I don't know if it's acceptable to see anyone else at this time, and I have a feeling that she would be upset if I did. I'd say you're pretty much exclusive, but the key thing is the pursuing. You should not be doing more than 20 to 30% of it. You should be letting her do that. And the next time she brings up or refers to you as her boyfriend, ask her those exact questions just like I mentioned. And if you're not sure, rewind the video back a few minutes and listen to it again, because all you have to do is you follow that, you'll be fine, and you won't be clear or in the dark. But I wouldn't bring it up or do any of that at this point. Just continue hanging out, having fun, hooking up, create fun-filled romantic opportunities for sex to happen, as I like to say. And if she's doing more of the pursuing, if she's doing more of the chasing, that's what she needs in order to develop those feelings inside of wondering about you, of thinking about you, and missing you. Because obviously you're into her, and you like her, and you're really digging her. That's a given. How do I know? You paid me to answer your email. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So it's a big deal to you, and it's obviously on your mind because this is what you're asking me about. So you're obviously already there. So the key is to let her talk about those things. Remember, when a woman is chasing you, and I'm talking about in every single way, you're not going to get dumped. And it keeps you in a really strong place. It keeps you feeling confident. It keeps you feeling amazing. And it keeps your relationship fresh. And if she's chasing you, she's not dumping you. And this facilitates what women need from a man. And when a woman's in love with you, she wants your attention all of the fucking time. That means she's calling you, texting you several times a day. This girl's sending you good morning texts and she's sending you good night texts. That is awesome. She's the one that decided to do that. And so she does that. And you can appreciate, hey baby, I love getting these texts from you every morning. You're so sweet. I adore you. Can't wait to see you later tonight, or can't wait to see you tomorrow, whatever it happens to be. And then you go about your purpose and your mission in life. And as a man, you're going to feel completely comfortable and centered and certain that you got this part of your life handled. It's a great place to be. So you're obviously doing enough to get her to the point where it sounds like she wants to be exclusive. But like I said, don't assume. Ask the questions next time she starts referring to you as her boyfriend. And just like I talked about, you're doing great, man. So let's move on to the second email. This guy says, hey, coach, first off, I have to hand it to you. You have amazing insight, and I'm sure it's hard-earned. It was a father mucker, let me tell you. It's been a long road. It took me a long time to get to that place. It's great that you can provide such a much-needed service and make a living at it. Well, if you do what you love, the money will follow. It's all about adding value, and that's what I do. I add value in my YouTube videos and my articles. I even let people read my book for free on my website if they're really ultra skeptical. The information speaks for itself. The wisdom speaks for itself. And when you apply the things I teach, you can set your watch to it. It's really understanding human behavior. And it really helps you focus on things that, at least as men, that we need to focus on in life. He says, I'm an actor in the New York area, which, as you know, means I'm in effect an independent contractor / marketer in the toughest and most competitive of professions. If you don't have a strong industrial strength center and excellent goal setting skills in this business, you're done before you even start. Exactly. Sounds like you got the right attitude. There's a video that I did. I was answering an email from another actor out in Hollywood, and he's very well known, very successful. And the title of the video, if you Google Corey Wayne, the keys to personal peak performance, it's also on the homepage of my YouTube channel. It's listed as one of the videos in the essential fundamentals. I highly encourage you to watch that video and apply what I teach to your acting career, because that will be the difference that makes the difference. And then it's just simply a matter of time before you get your big break. He says, in that regard, I will be contacting you for a live life coaching session. Cool. Well, I look forward to it. He says, as most of your fans and clients, I found your work in the midst of a relationship crisis, or more accurately, a non-relationship crisis. I've been in zombie mode for many years and was avoiding both engaging my own life and engaging the lives of women. As the years have rolled by, I finally woke up to the fact that I had been hiding from life, not living it. I decided a few years ago that I needed to change big time and fast, or die a lonely, broken man who never even tried to fulfill his purpose. That's not a fun place to be. He says, I've begun acting in theater again, producing a documentary film, and as of last November, began using Match.com. I felt I had my shit together enough to reach out and casually date. Little did I expect to be hit with a ton of bricks on my first date. I met this tall, hot, sexy, beautiful blonde who works out, owns her own successful business, had her shit together, and clearly wanted me to doink the hell out of her. Nice. At the end of our first date, she practically started humping me right in the parking lot. That's what happens when a woman really digs you. This is high attraction. This is why you want to date women like this. This is easy. This is effortless. This is the way it's supposed to be. Don't waste your fucking time trying to convince women to go out with you who just couldn't give a flying fuck. It's just not worth it. It's like swimming upstream. Why wear yourself out when if you just make a little bit of effort, boom, a girl jumps in your lap and reciprocates the interest. This is your birthright. You deserve to have someone like this in your life. Attraction is not a choice. It's handled by Mother Nature. He says, mind you, I hadn't been on a date in years, much less made out with a truly beautiful woman in literally decades. It was like I was run over by a truck. I was caught totally off guard and sucked up into this intense emotion. And then proceeded immediately to do everything wrong. Well, that's not good. Immediately I got weak, needy, scared, desperate. My mind and emotions were screaming that this is the one and only, and all is lost if you don't nail this chick down. In other words, lock her down to a commitment. It's a bad way to go, dude. She initiated the second date a few days later, and I must have showed all the signs because she began pulling back immediately afterwards, and her texts, emails, and calls went from fast and furious to non-existent. I was devastated and in blinding pain and sending her needy texts and emails asking for more dates, trying to coach the messages in lame, cute humor. My messages went out and I heard nothing back but crickets. Then I discovered your work on YouTube. It has really helped me in a hard time. It has helped me to understand myself and my emotions, where I went wrong, and what to do to understand the circumstances. Regarding this woman, I immediately stopped emailing and texting. I figured that was it. Then out of the blue, about 2 weeks later on New Year's Eve, she texted me to wish me a happy new year. See, that's what happens. It's like you backed off before you completely turned her off, where she lost all respect for you and wanted nothing to do with you. And when she reached out to you on New Year, you should be like, hey, babe, it's really great to hear from you. I would love to see you. When are you free to get together next? And then make a date. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. Keep it simple. I thought, Coach Corey Wayne knows what he's talking about. I teach truth, dude. If you just implement it, you'll see that it works for you. And as long as the girl's got interest, or still has interest, she'll come back. And if not, so what? You'll find somebody better. You found her, you can find somebody else. We saw in New York, and think about it, there's 6.5 billion people on the planet, and half of them are women. We saw in the new year together this way, as lame as that may be, but I like that she was at least thinking about me, albeit perhaps to be her emotional tampon, because she was alone on New Year's Eve. Well, that's when you should say, well, hey, I'm at this great party, let me shoot you the address and throw some clothes on, come over and hang out. She's reaching out to you, why not? Or make a date, dude. That's a missed opportunity if you didn't make a date. No, if I hadn't studied your work prior to this, my mind and emotions would have flipped out, and I would have again been projecting my own feelings of attraction on her. But I was able to handle this communication in a sober, controlled way. She said she wanted to get together again, and I told her to get back to me when she had a night free. She said she wanted to get together again. Great, when are you free to get together? You don't go, oh, hey, get back to me. Come on, dude. She brought it up. She called you. She was thinking about you on New Year's because she was spending it alone. Should have made a date. Missed opportunity, bro. She asked me to connect to her on LinkedIn and gave me a bunch of endorsements. Not sure what this means. It means she's really liking you. It means you haven't completely blown it with her. What the fuck, he says. She texted me again a week later to see how my new year was going and to tell me how excited she was on getting a new car. That's not why she texted you. She texted you to put herself into your orbit in hopes that you'll make a date. Remember, when a woman reaches out to you, make a date. Assume she wants to see you if she's contacting you, and make a date. That's a second missed opportunity. This is what happens when you don't know the information in my book very well. You make little stupid mistakes like this. You're sitting around waiting for her. She's contacting you, and now you're waiting for her to ask you out and be the man in the relationship. It's up to you to be direct, decisive, and get right to the fucking point. Make a date. And did I say make a date? Yeah. The last communication was a week ago, and I continue to not initiate contact or chase her. She's already surprised me a couple of times with these last few texts. I have also read your book twice so far and have reviewed your videos tirelessly. Well, you're not really paying attention because you had two great opportunities to make dates and you just let them slide by. I have a stable of attractive women that I am dating, so this is helping in the hunger department, but it is hard not to think of this blonde. And this is what I see some guys doing. The girl starts reaching out, and then they just kind of dance in circles waiting for her to make a date. You got to be the man, dude. You got to be the leader. He said, I don't know if she just wants to let me down easy, keep me in friend zone, or stay in my orbit hoping that I will calm the fuck down and try dating me one more time. You're not making dates, dude. You're fucking up. You don't know my book very well, and you're making completely unnecessary mistakes. You could have been fucking the shit out of this girl again and having a great time, but instead, you're sitting around waiting for her to be the man. He says, as you say, fuck the text. Actions speak louder than words. When we were hanging out, then I'll start thinking when we start hanging out again, then I'll think there may be a shot. Well, there is a shot. You're just not taking advantage of it, dude. It's like, what the fuck do you expect her to do? Just to show up and pull her clothes off and spread her legs and say, ooh, give it to me, big boy. It's like, come on, man. You got to do something here. But in any scenario, thanks for your work. And if she wants to meet again, I will have an infinitely better handle on how to deal with it. He says, one interesting point. Even if she wants to disappear, it will be a lot easier to deal with considering I gave it my best shot as a confident man and not because I was a clingy, weak pussy. I think there are a lot of guys in your audience that can relate to that. Yep. And I will be in touch with you to book a phone session in the future. Dude, next time she reaches out to you, assume she wants to see you. Make a fucking date. Get to the point. You're fucking blowing it. Blowing great opportunities here, dude. I want you to succeed. It's like the girl's like serving herself up in a silver platter and you're just sitting there going, gee, do I want to have some tuna? I don't know. Well, the tuna's not like jumping into my mouth, so what do I do then? So let's move on to the third and final email. This guy says, hey, Coach, I've been listening to all of your videos and they were of great help to me. I met a girl a year ago and she wanted to be friends. I didn't read your book at that time and said yes. Bad way to go. How is that case of blue balls doing for you? She was telling me about her dates with other guys and it was hurting me. You became the gay male girlfriend and the emotional tampon. That's when you got to say, hey, I like you, I want you, but I'm not interested in just being friends. So if you're cool with that, then hey, let's get together and meet up for a drink. When are you free to get together? It was at this time I started reading your book and I walked away. She suddenly started initiating contact and threw a surprise party for my birthday. She made like 6 or 7 dishes and the next day she invited me for a sleepover. I knew what to do and started kissing her. Well, good job. We kissed and cuddled and yes, I didn't have sex. I was still reading your book, LOL. After that, she used to give me a cold shoulder every now and then, but we still continued to kiss. It was after like 2 or 3 months of this that I actually had sex with her. Well, at least you did, dude. I had a woman, that's one of the ones I wrote about in my book. It was like a year and a half. And it's like, I know, it's like, that's why I say any fuck up that you've made with women, I've made 100 more that are a hell of a lot worse. And that's why I'm so good at this shit, because I fucked up a lot. A lot. That's why I can read these emails and know exactly what's fucking going on. He says, I moved into our apartment as my lease got ended and she wanted me to move in with her. I had a great time, but she constantly showed mood swings. Sometimes she said she wanted to go alone. She used to text another guy while I was working in the living room. Nice. Shows a lot of respect for you. Tells me your game wasn't tight, bro. One day I had to take her cell to make a call as my phone was switched off and I saw that she has been texting with this guy who was asking her to marry her. Well, he sounds like a fucking clueless pussy. I asked her and walked away and she said that she would stop contacting him. Everything was fine and then she had to move to her parents' place, which was 9 hours away. Huh? She loves you so much that she's got to move 9 hours away? Yeah. Things were not as good as you obviously thought they were. Tells me you didn't know the information in my book very well either, because you're like, hey, I'm getting the pussy, it's great, I'm awesome, I don't need to read this fucking book, I got it. Fundamentals. You're making unnecessary mistakes because you don't know the book well enough. I said that is fine and I understand. And unless she was going to take care of her parents, maybe they were sick or something like that, that's understandable. And it was me who told her that she needs to stay with her parents. All this while we assumed we were in a relationship. She used to ask me questions like, what exactly are we? We used to have so much fun together, blah, blah, blah. And then when a woman asks a question like that, answer a question with a question. Remember, whoever is asking the questions, that's who's in charge of the conversation. And as a man, you're the one with the penis, you're supposed to be the leader. Women are designed to receive our strength. And so when she says, what exactly are we? When you say, well, what do you see us as, baby? What do you want? What are you looking for? What is important to you? Talk to me. I want to know what's in your heart. Say it just like that. And then let her talk and let her bring it up. If she talks about what are we, it was like, and you are into that by asking her, don't volunteer and don't tell her what you want. Ask her what she wants first. And then you can agree, like, yeah, I want that too. Yeah, I'd like to be exclusive. Yeah, I'd like to be boyfriend, girlfriend. Absolutely. I love living with you. You're an amazing girlfriend. That's all you got to do, dude. It's like a game of poker. You just want to coax her to reveal her cards first. Remember, it's a scientific fact that women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. And when you handle it that way, it facilitates what she needs emotionally inside to fall completely head over heels in love with you to the point where she doesn't want to move 9 fucking hours away. Obviously, unless she's taking care of her parents or something. He says, we now talk mostly on the phone as she was 9 hours away, and I noticed that she started showing all of these signs, like she used to abruptly hang up on the call and say that she does not want this relationship or the lovey thingy or the love thingy. But she constantly needs my attention and says that we just need to remain as friends. Yeah, you're friend zone at this point, dude. That's when you say, hey, I think you're great, but I'm not interested in just being friends. I mean, if she's not coming to see you and you're not going to see her, you're phone pen pals, basically. You're her emotional tampon at that point. You're the gay male girlfriend. So I did the talk telling her how I felt and stopped texting and calling her. So she friend zoned you in essence and you didn't realize it and you kept pursuing her. Remember, 20 to 30% of the calling, texting, pursuing should never be more. In other words, a guy should never do more than 20, 30% of it. And it sounds like you were, to the point where she moved 9 hours away. She was texting me saying fucking liar and all, but I stopped replying. Well, obviously there's more going on here than you're revealing in your email. He says, I know I have to move on, but I think I am just waiting for some kind of validation. Well, like I said, you didn't know the fundamentals well enough because women do not move 9 hours away from men that they're in love with, unless, of course, they're going to take care of their parents. But it sounds like you, from what you shared here, that you were doing more than 20%, 20 to 30% of calling, texting, and pursuing, and that you weren't handling the courtship properly when you were living together. That's what I see from the evidence that you shared. So, like I said, I would move on, and if she reaches out to you again, say, hey, babe, I'd really love to see you. Well, you need to buy a plane ticket and come see me. I miss you. When are you free to get together? You don't need to talk about relationship or any of that crap. And if she gives you, oh, I'm just interested in friendship, say, I'm not interested in that. But you're awesome. Give me a call if you change your mind because I would really love to see you. And then just walk and never look back. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone session, Skype session, or email coaching. And you can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.